What's good, my people? Welcome into No Ketchup Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. Tons to talk about on a Tuesday, so let's jump right into it. I sent Nick the rundown. It's so much good stuff here to talk about. What makes Jameis Winston so likable? I want to hear Nick's take on this because also something that's not being talked about. I think part of this, people are laughing at him. Some are laughing with him. We're going to break down Jameis right now and his role in the culture and in the NFL space. Bears presser. Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, they fire the coach. They take 3 days to come out and give a statement and take a few questions from the media. It was a 20-minute presser. I hope you watched it. If not, we're going to talk about it, then you could go back and watch it. But we have a lot to say on that. Who's actually running the Chicago Bears and who's actually making decisions? We'll chat.
That's clear.
Azeez Al-Shahir suspended 3 games for the hit on Trevor Lawrence. Doing some rough math, that's almost north of a $300,000 fine for that hit on Trevor Lawrence. Is that worth it? Is his record, he has a couple fines over the last couple of years, is that the big part of this? But $300K is a lot of money, man, for a football play. Was it dirty? Maybe. We'll talk about that, T-Law, and that hit. Something or nothing. LeBron is having a tough stretch, shooting the rock. He's trying to play every game. We'll talk about that. Michigan, Ohio State, big-time rivalry, of course. We know we don't talk a lot about the college ball here, but flagrant, or are you good with you go to the opposing rival stadium, get a dub, and then you can plant the flag? Flagrant, foul, or you should be able to do that. That's it, man. That's going to take us an hour and change. No Ketchup, Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get to it.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's happening?
How we feeling?
Man, you already know, man.
So a few days back after a holiday are always it's always a struggle.
It's a grind.
Struggle week for sure.
And it feels like Thanksgiving was a long-ass time ago almost already.
It really does, yeah.
But that could partly be just me being on the move. I'm going to tell you guys about that right now. But, yeah, man, I was at the crib, at the New York crib for Thanksgiving. So my girl went back home. So I was here, man, solo dolo. I went down the street to the Dominican spot and grabbed me a couple plates. My guy, Monaco from MSG came through, and we watched some ball, kicked it, and he watched in live time me absolutely blow a gasket watching the Bears run off 30 seconds on a national holiday. So he saw that live. Shout out my guy, Monaco. But, yeah, kicked it solo with my guy. But then, my girl not coming back till Sunday. I'm starting to get cabin fever come like Friday because I was in the crib most of the day Thursday, right? I went out Wednesday night for a little bit.
Oh, you stepped out. You ventured out Wednesday night? Oh, man.
I stepped out. Nothing crazy, though.
Sean's still a young man out here. There's no way.
No.
There's no way you're catching me out Wednesday.
Nah, well, I went to the high
I
end.
went out on St. Patty's Day, and I realized that
that shit was done.
I was done. It was over with for me.
I stepped out. It was a high end establishment though in New York. Couple cocktails. It was all no one under the age of 30 was in the spot that I was at. So it was a very low key. Had a couple cocktails. Went back to the crib. But then like Thursday, I'm in the crib all day Thursday watching games. Got a couple plates. Then Friday, I was going to go do some shopping, but that was a mistake because it's Black Friday. People move. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me just chill. I'll post up. I'll watch games. I had some money on the Chiefs. Those guys are not serious. We could talk about that another time. What's new though? You know what I'm saying, Nick the Quick? Like, what's new? The most unserious team in the NFL.
They're seriously 11-1, but yeah,
the most unserious team in the NFL. I don't want to derail the pod.
11-1.
So
I guess the Bears could be that unserious.
So what I'm getting at is I'm starting to get cabin fever. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm on the East Coast. I got to get out the crib. Saturday, Sunday, Ravens, Eagles, clearly the best game on the schedule. I'm like, let me go ahead and let me get my shit together. Shout out my girl, Chelsea. Her fiance works for the Ravens. So easy call. I could get a tick, like no problem. We're going to go have some fun. So it's like a 4-hour drive from New York to Baltimore. So I'm like, you know what, Nick? I'm going to split it up. I'm going to rent a car Saturday. I'm going to go to Philly Saturday. I'm going to go kick it in Philly. I'm going to grab a cheesesteak. I'm going to play some cards at Parks. And I'll sleep at Parks. And then I'll split the drive up and I'll drive to Baltimore in the morning.
My man split up a 4-hour road trip.
Well, gee, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that 4 hours Sunday morning before the game.
I got you.
So I was like, let me just. Well, and I wanted to.
Man, it sounded like he's driving to fucking Disney World or something. I just split up my 4-hour drive. I had to stop in Philly and gamble. Woe is me.
So
this guy.
You know, I wanted to play a little card. So I'm like, let me stop.
You wanted to go
Philly.
to Philly, is what it was. Yeah.
Let me stop in Philly, play some cards. So I went to Philly, played some cards, kicked it, and then woke up in the morning and drove to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Get to the game, get some brunch, kick it. It's a good time. Go to the game, but then I got to catch the train back.
Why?
This is where I made a mistake, G.
You one-wayed the car?
I one-wayed the car, dropped it in Baltimore. It was on like $110, and then I had to get on a train and go back to New York from Baltimore. The traffic trying to get to the train station was a nightmare.
Out of control. The train,
Dog.
Yeah, that's a train on that Sunday.
I made a mistake.
You and everybody was on the train. Why didn't you round trip the car though? Usually it's more expensive to.
Well, because I was going to be drinking. I was going to be drinking at the game.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
I wasn't going to watch the game. It was a 4:30 kickoff. I wasn't going to watch the game, get out at 8:30, and then drive 5 hours to New York.
Fair.
That's how you crash the whip.
That's the right decision it's the right decision to make. You should have grabbed the hotel in Baltimore and drove back.
Yes, I should have just slept over, but I had work yesterday morning. What I'm getting at is
it's too much.
I was doing too much. I should have stayed my ass at the crib. I'm burning the candle at both ends. I did have some work that I had to do on Sunday also, which kind of helped. I was doing some work on a project that I don't need to get into that, but
so everybody knows Sean's riding it till the wheels fucking fall off, baby.
I'm trying to make it happen, man.
He's riding it till the wheels fall off.
Trying to do it all.
Trying to do it all, man. Shout out to Sean, man. I get it. More life, man. You had the opportunity to get out the crib, check out the Baltimore. You ever been to Baltimore before?
Yeah, when I was little though, and I'd never been to M&T Bank, which was a cool stadium actually. Yeah. Lamar Jackson. The bigger the game, I don't even want to get into that, but he struggled on Sunday. We'll just leave it at that. He didn't play well. All right, Big Nick the Quick. Let's get into it. You want to start Jameis first? Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah, great game last night.
Jameis, what a fun game. If you didn't stay up, go back and watch it. I mean, Jameis, there was 5 interceptions total from Jameis and Bo Nix. Couple pick sixes. Jameis got on the podium and said he asked God to rebuke him from throwing pick sixes. He said he knows he's better than that.
He said, deliver me from these pick sixes.
He said, in Jesus' name.
Deliver me in Jesus, the Lord's name.
Deliver me from these pick sixes. Big Nick the Quick, I'm going to ask you just point it. Because I think it's clear why you and I like Jameis. And if it's not clear, I'll give my spark notes on it. He's a character. I think he's funny. And he can play a little bit when he's on. He just makes a lot of dumb mistakes. As many good plays as he makes, he's been known to make a bad play as well. But there's also something about it, Nick, that I can't really place my finger on. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Like, I don't know why I like Jameis Winston so much. There's so many guys that if they acted just like him and then went out and threw multiple pick sixes, I would I never want to see this guy again. But what is it about Jameis Winston, Nick, that makes him so likable? And no matter what he does, we seem to continue to like him. And this is off of the rebrand. You know what I mean? He had those issues with the crab legs. Yeah. He had he's been on multiple teams.
The cafeteria issue at Florida State.
The cafeteria issue, he's
when he tried to dress for a game that he was suspended in, and Jimbo Fisher had to tell him, Jameis, you're not playing this half. Jameis didn't understand. I think that's what it is, though, man. He's likable. It's almost in a way where there are some people that annoy you and you can't stand to be around them because of the stupid shit that they do. And there's some people that, regardless of the stupid shit that they do, you love them. And it almost makes you love them more. And that's kind of how Jameis is, right? Like, he's funny, man. I think part of it, and I've really wondered about it this year, like, is he in on the joke? Like the pregame speech, he has to know, to know. Like, I'm sure it was genuine, like the eating W's and all that, like back in the day, like that was probably genuine. Like, at this point, like, he has to be in on the joke. And if he's not, it makes it all the more better. Like, either way, it's great. You want to root for him. He's going out there. He's going out swinging. Like, we talk about the year in Tampa Bay where he threw 30 interceptions. Well, guess what? He also threw 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, which is a ridiculously incredible accomplishment when you really think about it. So, like, there's highs and lows. He does it with a smile. He seems like it's almost like this childlike, I don't even know how to describe it, but I understand. I think everybody listening understands why you would root for Jameis Winston. And to your point, he can play a little bit. And the thing is this, like, from a pure football standpoint, and it's hard to say if it wasn't for the interceptions, but if it wasn't for the interceptions, he's a good quarterback, right? Like, he is fine. Like, when we talk about should he be in the league, should he not be in the league, career backup, like all that, if he wasn't so bad with the interceptions, like so bad with the interceptions, and throw them in multiples, I think we'd be fine. Like, that last interception he threw to end the game last night was crazy. Like, it was absolutely, it was like a 5-yard throw into 3 people. It was crazy. Like, you really have to try to throw some of these interceptions, but it doesn't matter, man. We love him. We'll still sign up for more of it. He'll be in the league. He'll be around forever. He'll probably be on TV afterwards. I thought on Thursday Night Football last week when he was doing the Snow Angels with Whitworth and Sherman and those guys, I thought that was amazing. Like, the guy doesn't take himself too seriously. I also think the funny thing is, if you go back to, like, his Florida State shit, apparently, like, he's, like, a brilliant guy. Like, he's, like, a 4.0 student at Florida State. They say football-wise, he's, like, a savant. Like, actually, like, of high intelligence, but, it's just kind of goofy.
He's just kind of a goof. I never thought about what you said to lead the show, that is he in on the joke. I think that's actually might be it. Like, let me lean into this. People seem to enjoy this. People seem to like when I know I'm going to get a pregame interview. Let me talk about how God is allowing me to play in the snow and how excited I am and act like a little kid about it, right?
God for letting me play in the snow.
Like, I wonder if he's looking like, man, I really just got on. They're going to give me 2 primetime games. I get a Thursday game against the Steelers and it snows. Then I look ahead and I'm on Monday night on the road in Denver. Like, these are real opportunities for me to, work on the Jameis brand. Him being in on the Jameis act is actually something I didn't think about, which I find really interesting.
Lights, no camera, no action. Well, actually, let's bring the action.
Like, he knows
it's great.
He's like an actor.
It's great.
It's amazing.
It's great. Like you said, he's like an actor. And listen, man, at the end of the day, we just talked about this last week. Life as a backup quarterback ain't all that bad. Jameis Winston is rich. He's like, at the end of the day, he's got a Heisman. He's got a national championship. Yeah. Like, hey, people forget Jameis was a dog. And you go back to that Florida State season, I think we don't really talk about it. And because we're not big college guys, but don't you remember every single game they would be down like 21-0 at half. And it was almost like for fun that in the second half, Jameis would bring them back with like 6 touchdowns in the second half. He won a Heisman off that shit. Like, they were down
was amazing.
21-0 at half every single game, and Jameis was like, all right, let's do it. And then go out there and just be the best quarterback you've ever seen. So it's great. Look, it's all the legends.
There's not a lot of guys that win Heismans and win national titles. Like, that combo doesn't happen a lot. And he's been a solid quarterback in the NFL his entire career. The whole vision thing was, I think, it still is underplayed. He flat out told you. He couldn't see. He was playing with blurry. He was playing. If you wear glasses, Nick. You take them glasses off.
If I take the glasses off, I can't see anything. I'm not making any
out there
reads.
dropping back in he was dropping back in the NFL trying to make reads without his vision corrected. So, also him being on the Cleveland Browns in this specific situation is almost like fairy tale, because the Deshaun Watson thing happens. They think they're getting a quarterback. That is an absolute disaster. For a team that needs some levity, that has absolutely nothing going for it. They're 3-8 going into the game last night. The season's essentially over. No matter how many pick sixes Jameis throws, you guys aren't going to the playoffs. Like, the season's wrapped. So it's almost a perfect situation. It's not like he's coming into a team that's a contender and he's making jokes and then throwing pick sixes. It's like, doesn't matter kind of what happens here. Let's have fun with Jameis and try to go out there willy-nilly and free and win games. And if I throw a pick six, fuck it. I might throw for 400 yards and throw a couple pick sixes. That's exactly what happened last night with Jameis. And we're going to have fun, and people will be able to laugh. I think it's just a perfect situation right now for him, because if he was on, instead of a 3-8 team, an 8-3 team, and he was making all these jokes and saying you understand what I mean? So it's perfect situation for Jameis and him, the likability factor. He was 34 for 58 for 497, 4 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Yeah, Stefanski said we're gonna let it rip tonight.
Yeah, so like, let's just go get it.
And I think you hit on it with the fan base, because also, I mean, if you're a Browns fan, it's bleak, right? Like, sometimes you're in the midst of a bleak season. The situation with them, and because of how much they've committed to Deshaun Watson and what you had to trade to get him there, and the financial commitment, like, this doesn't get any better for the next couple years. Like, this is a hole we may have never seen any team ever in any sports league dig themselves into, just with the fact that I think next year it's like a $75 million cap hit, right? That's why I was shocked that they didn't trade Myles Garrett at the
deadline,
and a couple other guys, because it's like you just need to start recouping draft picks, and it's just
like
and we're full on like free Stefanski watch here. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, I'd give up a first round pick for Kevin Stefanski right now. So it's a bad situation for Browns fans. So for Jameis to come in there, be a breath I can't even talk today, a breath of fresh air, tell jokes, have a good time, have fun playing ball, and give your team a better chance to win games than you did with Deshaun Watson. It's like, hey, this is great. And now for the second straight year, someone else comes in and looks infinitely better in this offense than Deshaun Watson has. You had it last year with Flacco. You have it this year with Winston. So, I mean, I think they're just in a bad situation over there in Cleveland, to where you will probably trot Deshaun Watson out again next year as your starter, because you're paying him $50 million.
I don't think they can do that.
Maybe. I don't think you should, but the owner is obviously very clearly hell-bent on keeping him in there. If that's the case, if I'm Stefanski, I resign. I'll go fucking host Countdown or some shit. Another year of that.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah,
for sure. I digress. But yeah, Jameis, love him, man. Wish the best for him. Want him to keep shining. And a little pick six here and there just keeps things interesting.
That's exactly right. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Hey, real quick, can I just get 30 seconds from you on this? Just because I think I love this guy, and I just need to know if you're on the same page. Bo Nix.
Great situation.
I think I like Bo Nix.
Yeah, I think I like Bo Nix as well. Look, I mean, me and Bo
interception to start the fourth was crazy, but that was also a terrible play call. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I have a tumultuous relationship with Bo Nix, because he's been costing me money back from his Auburn days.
For his decade of college football.
His Auburn days, Bo Nix was costing me cheese. So me and Bo, and then I had quite a bit of money on him to win the Heisman last year. And they just needed to win the championship game, and he capitulated and they lost. So I got a tumultuous relationship with Bo Nix, but I love what he's doing in Denver. I love how it started. Dude, it's just another example of if you get a guy that believes in you, and you have a little bit of talent, you could put some things together, man. It's clear Sean Payton believes in him. Sean Payton is designing things for him to succeed. Sean Payton is literally, that's Sean Payton's project right now. That's the only thing he's focused on. Sean Payton is every day, how do I make Bo Nix a better quarterback? So when you get in a situation like that, it's just we talk about this all the time. It's just proof that, man, you nurture a guy, you get him in the right spot, he could be very good. As a rookie, an older rookie,
well, that's the thing.
That started a lot of games.
He started really 63 games in big-time college football. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of adjustment that certain rookies might make, a guy who started 1 or 2 years versus Bo Nix, who literally started 5 years of college football at the highest levels. Like, there's just certain shit. He's seen a lot of football, a lot of good football, a lot of different systems and all that. So, yeah, shout out Bo Nix.
Yeah, man. So let's get to the Bears. If you haven't watched the press conference from yesterday, you need to go watch it as soon as possible if you're a Bears fan. Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren. I didn't even watch Thomas Brown's presser because he is just a pawn in the whole thing.
Oh, you didn't watch it? It was great. He's awesome.
No, I like him. I don't need to watch
Mike Tomlin Jr. It was Tomlin-esque.
Okay, then you could tell me more about it. And
pre-snap penalties need to get better. That's how he talks. Yeah.
But you get what I mean, because he's just he's a subordinate of what's going on above him.
What if he wins out?
I think it's a big issue for us if he wins out.
Because the head coach, but
I don't want him to be that. I don't want him to
get a chance if he wins out.
Correct. Yeah, it'd be a mess, to be honest with you. But this is also why you don't keep fucking Matt Eberflus going into the year. So don't even whatever. We're going to talk about it. But let's talk about Kevin Warren, the president. First of all,
the president is black.
My thing here too is they fired Eberflus on Friday.
Yeah.
After they let him come and chat with. Incredible. You want to know how unserious the Chicago Bears organization is?
It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
No, but this is what I'm saying. And Kevin even talked about this. It's Thanksgiving. You take the L. As soon as the game is over, in my opinion, Kevin Warren, McCaskey, and Poles need to be on the phone until we decide what we're going to do. I don't care if it's Christmas. I don't care if it's Thanksgiving. You guys are paid too much money, and there is too much at stake. Because essentially what Kevin Warren said was, someone in the presser asked him, what made you guys let Matt come up and do the presser Friday and then get fired hours later? Kevin Warren's answer to that was, we hadn't decided on if we were going to fire him or not yet. That's the only reason that he went up and chatted on Friday. That conversation should have been happening all day Thursday. How can you even eat your food at your dinner table knowing what's going on with the shit around you at your gig? I felt like that shit should have been decided Thursday night. He should have been called Friday morning or brought in Friday morning, or you fly or go wherever you got to go Friday morning, fire him. You don't allow it sounded like they shelved it and then chatted Friday after it's just unprofessional stuff, right?
It's the Bears.
So what were your thoughts overall? And if those listening haven't watched the press conference yet, they fired Matt Eberflus Friday. They took Friday. First of all, in my opinion, you should talk to the media on Friday. But that's fine. You don't want to talk to the media on Friday. You're the Bears, so everything is meticulously planned. Nothing is genuine when you talk to the fans, in my opinion. Saturday, you go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning. You get a full 3 days. Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles address the media. Ryan Poles comes out. First of all, he looks a little like the body language was bad.
He looks like he's sitting next to his boss who just gave him a fucking tongue lashing.
Yes,
and Kevin Warren on his lap.
And Kevin Warren comes out and says, hey, we're still about winning championships. We got to get this next decision right. This is still the most valuable job on the market come the offseason. We're still trying to make the stadium. The fans don't deserve this. They deserve more. And Ryan Pauls kind of sits there and they talk about who's going to make the decisions, who's the final say. Kevin Warren's like, we're not worried about who has the final say. They kind of asked him again, like, well, I mean, someone's going to have the final say. Kevin Warren is like, well, he's the GM, so he'll have the final say, but we'll work together. And this is basically kind of what he said. Go back and watch the full presser. But, Nick, what were your thoughts coming out of there?
So, listen, you have Kevin Warren and you have Ryan Pauls sitting up there. First off, Ryan Pauls is a big dude, former offensive lineman, played in the league.
Kevin Warren is huge, dog.
Sitting next to Kevin Warren, he looked absolutely tiny. Number one, because Kevin Warren is bigger. And number two, I really think because of the situation. Like, Pauls looked like a shrunken man sitting next to him, right? Like, he had literally just been sat down, told who's in charge, and then now has to come out and give a press conference and essentially lie about it, right? You could tell by how Pauls was talking. There was no projection in his voice. Everything was very unsure of himself. He would trail off at times. Listen, man, if your boss has to come out and clarify to everybody that you have a position, guess what? You don't have a position.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes, right? If you're in the beginning of a meeting today at MSG and the boss comes out and says, hey, just so you guys know, Sean is our gambling guy, not me. And just goes on for 20 minutes basically laying out your role. Guess what? You're not in charge. Someone else is in charge. You are just in place there. So when they talk about who has the final decision, I thought it was most interesting when they asked Pauls, like, hey, so what do you say to a head coach who has some uncertainty about whether or not you'll be in the role next year? And Pauls goes, well, I feel like when that coach sits down with the both of us, as in, like, not when they sit down with me and feel from me that there's confidence. They have to sit down with the both of us. I won't be making any decisions without Kevin saying it's okay. So you 100%, it was a show of force. It was humiliating for Ryan Pauls. It's being covered like it was humiliating for Ryan Pauls. Ryan Pauls could not hide his discomfort with the situation. I don't think he could speak candidly in that situation or talk about what he really wanted to talk about. If the Eberflus coaching search went the way that we thought it went, what we heard it went, where they essentially gave him 3 names and said, hey, pick one of these guys, then he already knows I'm going to be the one regardless left holding the bag. Kevin Warren, the thing with Kevin Warren also is this. He's not in a fireable position in a situation where if the results aren't there on the field, like Kevin Warren's going to be left to blame. His job is much bigger than that. So Ryan Pauls, if this doesn't go right, will be left holding the bag. Ryan Pauls 100% knows that. The Bears could go 0 for 17 next year, and if Kevin Warren is building stadiums and signing deals and the club is commercially successful, he keeps his job. So let's be very clear on that. These are 2 different men that have 2 completely different amounts of skin in the game. Even if Kevin Warren is pulling the strings on the football side.
So
Ted Phillips was there for 30 years as a businessman.
So why can't we split the 2 up?
Split them up like how?
Why can't they be 2 different things?
Because that's not how the Bears run. This is a family organization that runs in a pyramid style. Because it's not compartmentalized like that.
Why?
It's not compartmentalized. Because that's not how it. Listen, man. I'll put it this way. What's the best way to? If you work for a team that is structured this way, ownership is involved in everything. Outside, even not just, and so there's people who are in charge are involved in everything, right? If you have a fucking restaurant attached to the stadium, they're involved with that. If the team runs a TV network, they're involved with that. Even though it might not be their job, they spill over into there and start meddling. So Kevin Warren can't be separated. And you've been saying this for years that he was in charge, and I would fight you on it because my understanding was this guy builds fucking stadiums. We're trying to build a stadium. It's pretty clear why he's here. But not anymore, because when shit's not going right, George calls him and says, hey, Kevin, guess what? You are the CEO. You are in charge of the Chicago Bears. So you need to fix this. So you're no longer just the final signature on major decisions. You are involved in the nitty gritty. Kevin Warren will be in the interviews. Kevin Warren will be giving his suggestions. And I say the word suggestions with a grain of salt, right? It's not like Poles can be like, hey, no, thanks, Kevin, but I think I like this guy more. And when we talk about final say, Ryan Poles could think he has the Messiah ready to sign for quarterback. And if Kevin Warren doesn't fucking agree, guess what? It ain't happening. And you saw that yesterday. That was not two people working in lockstep. That was boss and employee. Harder than you've ever seen. Very rarely do you see that type of show of force. Even when you see owners sitting next to GMs, that was boss and employee if I have ever seen it. Everything was me and him, defer to him. Ryan, if Kevin Warren says something, Ryan Poles is just nodding along. Yep, knowing I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. It's not my choice. It wasn't my choice 3 years ago when we hired this fucking clown who was the defensive coordinator of a bad defense. Again, defensive coordinator of a bad defense. Tell me your favorite Colts defense.
Well, I'm sure he
had some okay years.
No,
I don't remember them. I remember those defenses lighting the world on fire. Sorry.
No, not at all. No. But I'm saying Poles definitely had some say, had something.
Yeah, he gave him
had a good amount of say in Eberflus coming in for to be the coach. Like I think he supported that decision.
But remember that he didn't run the search. That was the thing. Yes. Poles didn't run the search for the head coach. They gave him 3 names.
Yes, right. And pick your best out of pick your best.
It could be 3 shitty names. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Who knows who the other 2 names? One of the other names could have been fucking Hugh Jackson for all we know. And Poles was like, shit, fine. I guess.
The other thing I find hilarious. What is this culture of hiring search parties to find coaches? Isn't that your job to go get the coach that fits your culture? And do you think that could deal with your roster? What do you mean?
That's very corporate America. You hire these executive search firms to find your next CEOs and other C-suite positions like that.
This is the NFL, brother.
Well, now, did you hear what they said? They're going to have. Aren't they bringing in some people? Was this for the Bears or was this for someone else that's bringing in people for the next? Maybe it was the Jets that I heard. I don't know.
They said they hadn't decided if they were going to bring someone in or how they were going to go about it, but. Overall,
remember last time it was Ernie Accorsi. Ernie Accorsi is going to help lead. Like Ernie Accorsi.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I don't even know who that is, but yeah, the Ernie Accorsi.
No, who is the guy? Bill Polian. Bill Polian's going to help.
Oh, Polian, yeah.
And I already went on. I already told you guys about Bill. He drafted fucking Peyton Manning and won 1 Super Bowl.
As soon as we heard Bill Polian, that's
I'm out.
New age shit is coming out of Bill
Nothing's
Polian's
coming out of
camp.
Bill. And what did Bill Polian do? He hired someone from the fucking Colts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he didn't reach too far, did he?
I didn't even think about that.
The team that employed me for 20 years. Hey, who do you guys got over there? Eberflus? All right, cool. Yeah, send him over. Thanks.
Bill Polian. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely it felt like watching that, it felt like we had 2 GMs and one was more senior. And it's just a really bad situation.
Like we had a GM and a director of pro scouting is what it felt like.
Now, the other thing where this creates a big issue is just like you said, if I'm Ben Johnson, you realize that we brought up Ben Johnson like almost 2.5 years ago. I've been telling y'all about Ben Johnson for a minute now. And he is the guy for the job.
Talk about the Messiah, Lord, Ben Johnson. I've never.
Hey man, go watch the tape.
Oh, listen, no, I'm all for Ben Johnson offensively. Great. Awesome. I would love to have Ben Johnson in the fold. I've just never seen I don't know if I've ever seen coaching stock as high as Ben Johnson. It's like people are acting like Ben Johnson's going to come into any team and make them 17-0. And again, I think offensively, brilliant mind. But when we start thinking about the things that we love about the Lions, this might be hot. When we start thinking about the things that we love about the Lions and what we love in a head coach, a lot of what the Lions have going on is a direct reflection of the head coaching stuff, right? Like going forward on fourth down all the time, right? Their whole identity, how they play, their style. So much of that does come from Dan Campbell. Obviously, the offensive scheming comes from Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell is a non-playbook guy. We know this. But the scheming is coming from Ben Johnson, and that's the most important thing for Caleb Williams. But culture and all that stuff does matter, and that is part of the reason why the Lions are so good. And the culture is 1,000% set by Dan Campbell. Like there's no doubt about that.
No
Even
doubt.
when you're talking about bringing in Aaron Glenn or whoever it might be, love all those guys. They're great, but Dan Campbell is the one injecting the culture into that team. So we just got to be clear when we're on the Ben Johnson hype train here that he is not bringing Dan Campbell's intangibles with him.
Well, this is, I think, the head coaching issue in the NFL is if you go and get a tone setter like a Dan Campbell and a culture setter like a Dan Campbell, like a Mike Tomlin, you are constantly replacing offensive guys. Constantly. You have to figure out who's going to be constructing these offenses, and it changes year after year after year. That's very difficult. So if
Fair.
you know, I guess you have a home run in a culture guy where he is just going to be able to bring that type of attitude and engulf that in the team year in, year out, then maybe you might be able to get over some of that offensive emptiness that like the Lions are going to leave next year. But that's all. It's offensively. To go back to what we've always talked about, this is about developing Caleb Williams. And I think the best guy on the market to develop Caleb Williams is Ben Johnson.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I'm with that. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like it. I like that for sure. I'm hesitant to say it, but I am on pump the brakes on Ben Johnson because it's just too hot. It's just been a little crazy. And I think again, like the personality matters. Like I know we loved him a couple years ago. But now you look at like a guy like Mike McDaniel, singular. Not Mike McDaniel. Yeah, Mike McDaniel, the guy in Miami.
Singular. Yeah.
And now it's starting to come out. The team is soft. The players don't respect him. He was standing by a heater during the game, and guys are looking at him. Did you read that? Did you read that report? They said the team is soft, and it starts with the head coach, and multiple players pointed out that he was standing by a heater during the game the other day because it was so cold, and guys were looking at him like, "What the fuck?" So I mean, you could have stuff like that too. I mean, like that stuff does matter. I'm not as big on like this leader of men that they were talking about. Like, yeah, you do need a leader of men, but let's go win some football games. But I think you do need a mix of that. Right? Like if you are going to hire, I think you hit it though with if you hire one of these offensive geniuses to be your head coach, you don't have to worry about replacing him every year. You're just bringing in assistants to help him do what he does, a la Andy Reid, a la Shanahan or whoever it might be, right? These guys who are 100% calling the offenses or like a Quinn calling the defense. They're not, or Lovie Smith with the Bears, right? It didn't matter who the defensive coordinator was outside of that year that it was Babich and we were terrible. It didn't really matter because Lovie Smith was calling the defense.
Yeah. So overall, go back and watch that that presser. It's just a power struggle right now at the Chicago Bears.
There's no struggle. I feel
like the ownership. Well, yeah, I guess you're right, but like the ownership believes in Kevin Warren, but he should be the guy on the side that Nick laid out on the partnership side and the money side. Every time in the NFL, it's so clear in the NFL, like when you start to cross over gigs and muddle, it's too much. It doesn't work. When you're the owner and the GM in Dallas, it doesn't work. It's too much. You got to make roster decisions and coaching decisions. And it's too much. If you're going to ask Kevin Warren to then approve everything the GM is doing, then you don't have a GM, and then it's like it's too much.
Yeah, and then you're cutting the balls off of all of your top decision makers. Like, who knows if he's involved in marketing, right? Does he go over to the marketing department and say, and then what's the point of having these people who are in charge? They can no longer. You know what also happens? And you've probably seen this professionally. The people who are under Ryan Poles, right, no longer look at Ryan Poles as the boss. And if they have an issue, you know what they'll do? They will back channel it to Kevin Warren, right? The people in the football operations department need to look at Ryan Poles as the boss. And there's no way after yesterday, not a chance after yesterday, that you are looking at that guy like he has some type of final authority. And that is a terrible situation to find yourself in for sure. Another thing I'll say, Kevin Warren does not look like the type of guy who, if I worked for him, I would want to be on his bad side. He just looks like a mean Mean old
He's just
grizzly.
mean.
Grizzly motherfucker.
I don't think mean is the right word, but he's just very serious.
Serious.
He looks very serious. You know what? You know one thing that even like from an optics standpoint, I noticed this guy's sitting here in a suit and tie, orange tie for the Bears. Yeah. This other guy is the younger guy in a half zip, quarter zip with the unbuttoned collar.
I thought that was weird. I did think that was weird.
Like, and mind you, Kevin wears a suit every time. I've never seen him not in a suit.
No, he's a suit guy.
Also, that's
very old school.
Projecting, right?
That's like an old school thing. It's very old school.
It's still but you see the difference in the projection, though?
Yeah. Kevin Warren looks like he's in charge.
Yes, bro.
If you were to tell me who is the boss here, I would look at Kevin Warren and say, that's the fucking guy.
And also,
you should have never brought him downstairs because you can't unsee it. You can't unsee him. We just talked about. Oh, I just cut off. Sorry. We just talked about the presence that he has. You can't unsee that. You can't unsee that man with that much presence, right? That much command, who looks like that, being in charge.
Last
point. Without a doubt.
The right way to go about it would have been to hear from Kevin Warren by himself. I'm the president. Here are my thoughts. Oh, you guys are done with me? Here's Ryan Poles, the GM. He sits down. Do you know why in pressers like in the NBA, you get the role players, then you get the superstar by himself? LeBron James goes to the media and sits by himself. He doesn't sit with Dalton Connect. He doesn't sit with Austin Reeves. Him and AD will do stuff sometimes together, but that's on purpose. I think it would have done Ryan Poles and the Bears wonders, optically wise, regardless of who's making decisions, if Kevin Warren came and sat by himself and then Ryan Poles came and sat by himself. You immediately strip Ryan Poles of any type of power when you sit him next to his boss, because at the end of the day, he is his boss regardless, right?
Without a doubt.
So it's just really tough to sit them next to each other. And then it's like if you're in a divorced household and you sit with your mom and dad and they're asking you they're asking you questions and you're looking at mom and you're looking at dad and you just don't have any, your voice is stripped. And that's
the reason the coordinators come out and have their own media days. You wouldn't have the head coach sitting next to the defensive coordinator was the defensive coordinator's availability because he can't be candid. And again, this is the Bears doing as well. You could have had Warren pulling strings behind the scenes, but kept him behind the scenes.
Right.
And all you need to do was put out some statements. Ryan Poles is in charge. We don't even need Kevin Warren to come talk because Kevin Warren is building fucking stadiums. That's what he's doing for us. Instead, they let the Warren shit go. Now you've put him up there front and center. And the other thing is this, the media is no longer going to want to hear from Ryan Poles if the shit goes sour. We want to hear from Kevin Warren.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, is Kevin going to come talk? That's what's going to happen. That's what will happen. Hey, Ryan, things are going bad. We appreciate you coming up, but are we going to hear from Kevin Warren? And Ryan Poles going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Stay tuned on that.
The Bears keep doing this. Bad organizations stay bad.
Yeah, it's so true.
You make a misstep at every single way. Every single time the Bears have the opportunity to do the right thing, they do the wrong thing. And they have continually done the wrong thing. And you wonder why this franchise is where it is. You wonder why it's going to continue to be where it's going to be. And you wonder why it's damn near free Caleb Williams. I feel bad for the kid because this is ridiculous. We're always here. The only difference is this kid has the talent, but we're always here.
Yeah, it's true.
He might be able to overcome it.
Stay tuned. The coaching decision is the biggest decision coming up.
Biggest decision coming up without a doubt.
That's if they get the coach right, it could be a different thing here. Let's talk.
Punted on a year of this kid's development, which just makes me sick again. But
well, we talked about that already. I think he has been developing though, which
he's great.
Makes us feel a little better.
Despite what's in front of him, which gives me a lot of hope about his resiliency. It'll never get worse.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's talk about Azeez Al-Shaair suspended 3 games for hitting Trevor Lawrence. 3 games.
I'm fine with it.
3 games is a lot of games. If I did some quick math, I looked at his salary. He's making $1.5 million this year. The bigger dollars on his deal kick in next year. it's probably like right around. It could be like anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000 fine, missing 3 game checks. I don't know exactly, so don't quote me on that, but it's quite a big number, pushing a little less than. It's like it looks like it's between like 3 and 400,000 a year. I don't know exactly how it's a game. I don't know exactly how it's structured, but it's a big number. He has a history of hitting some people out of bounds. 2023 roughing the passer, you got a $14,000 fine. Face mask versus Tampa Bay, $11,000 fine in 2023. September 2024 versus Chicago, he gets $12K because he hit Caleb late on the sideline. Or someone late on the bench. I don't remember if it was Caleb. They got in a little bit of scrap. It was Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got in a little bit of a scrap. He gets $12,000 for a late hit there. Then he gets a late hit versus Tennessee earlier in the year. That's $11K. Then he hits Trevor Lawrence this week and gets the 3 game suspension. Big Nick the Quick, where are you at on the suspension, on the hit? What can we do? Is this just a one-off where, hey, it's deserved, dirty play, you got to sit for 3 games, eat the penalty, and that's just what it is?
Yeah, I think it's 100% a dirty play. I think if you're the NFL, you're looking at it from the perspective of we can't have that happen. So we need to make a point, especially when it's a repeat offender. So I think the suspension is warranted. I think 3 games 100% matches that. There was no reason to hit him like that. He is clearly going down, was on his way down, and you came in and tried to level him and take his head off. You add in the fact that he was injured. The optics on it were absolutely terrible. I think if Trevor Lawrence bounces back up, maybe we're having a different discussion. The fact that he did the hand thing and was just all fucked up makes it worse.
Listen to this really quick while I have this on the screen. This is D'Amico Ryans. We stand behind Azeez Al-Shaair. It's an unfortunate hit on the quarterback, but it's also twofold. A lot of the QBs in this day and age, they try to take advantage of the rule where they slide as late as possible.
Yeah.
That's D'Amico Ryans, the head coach.
I do think that's true, but I mean, I think it's happening in real time. And I don't know if the QB is necessarily thinking that, but obviously they're going to try to slide as late as possible because they're trying to pick up his most yards. You know he's going to slide, right? There's only a couple quarterbacks in the league who aren't sliding in that situation, and Trevor Lawrence ain't one of them. So you know he's going to eventually slide. Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. Look, this is nothing new. Being a defender in the NFL in 2024 with some of the rules as far as what you cannot do is very difficult. But you know how that one is going to end. And I think he had enough time to not hit him like that. So again, the optics on it are terrible. You don't want that happening. God forbid something worse happens, right? I mean, like that's the type of shit where you can really fuck somebody up because Trevor Lawrence is not expecting to get hit. He's not bracing himself for impact in that situation, which is when those type of injuries usually happen. So I have no problem with it. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but that's just based on his salary. I mean, what are we going to do? Start looking at it, oh, because this guy makes $20 million, we can only suspend him for 1 game? I mean, it is what it is, right? If it was Myles Garrett that did it, or if it was Michael Parsons or whoever, some of these higher paid TJ Watt that did it, yeah, that's just going to cost you $3 or $4 million, but that's just based on how much money you make. I don't think that should go into a factor. Unless you're fine. If you want to do it that way, then do it like the NBA and just have a straight fine. But they also fine game checks as well. So, I mean, there's no real way around it. That was a 3-game hit. Period.
Yeah, it's a dirty
That's the type of shit that we were watching, like, jacked up. Like, that was that type. That was some Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison. Who was my man's Ike Taylor, type hits.
Yeah, it was late. It was dirty. It's a difficult situation because, yeah, he's just trying to come up and slow it down, but he's also known for playing a little he's been known to push the limits. Put it like that.
And that's what, remember, he said with Sue. When Sue would do shit, it'd be amplified because Sue had a reputation of being a dirty player. Perfect. Same thing. Perfect looked at you the wrong way. That was 6 games. You know, they told him, they said, hey, buddy, show up and play and get the fuck out of here.
Did I ever tell you my Vontaze Burfict story?
At ASU?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, dude. For those who don't know, man, we're getting old, bro. Shout out Vontaze Burfict. What a linebacker. Made some dirty hits.
Talk about a mean guy. Absolute mean guy. Dude, he was a fucking great linebacker.
If we talk about an NFL linebacker, bro.
Highest rated recruit ever to sign Arizona State was Vontaze Burfict.
He was a monster. And Vontaze Burfict went to Arizona State. I went to Arizona State. We were playing pickup. I look over to the side, and first of all, I played pickup. That's all we. Dude, college was awesome because literally all I did was play pickup, go to parties, and then go to class. It was
great.
Pickup, class, party, pickup, class, party, pool.
Yeah, pool. I did a lot more. I did a lot more pool and party than pickup in class. Yeah, but yes, it was just great.
That's why, like, going out west. If I have a son,
great. Yeah.
If I have any daughter, son,
nope. I've already told Mia the ASU was off the list.
She can't go to Pac-12.
So I also went to Arizona State, and yeah, it's off the list. I told her it's a hard no unless she goes for athletics. It's hard no. Sorry. Okay. Hey, listen, man. It's not for the faint of heart. It's okay. It's not for the faint of heart out there. It's a different ball game. No, she's good. We're good.
Okay. What I'm getting at is, man, I get the big tradition of, going to Penn State and, or not
big tradition of going to Penn State?
Just so Nick doesn't blow gas. Excuse me,
hey, she could go to Arizona State 150,000 times before she ever sets foot in fucking Happy Valley, Pennsylvania. I'll tell you that right now. Hard no. School shouldn't be allowed. Don't get me started on Penn State. They should have revoked their fucking charter. Don't ever mention Penn State to me.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, I hate it. Ugh.
But the Big Ten tradition of, it's cold. You're going to your tail,
Indiana, Bloomington,
Wisconsin. Yeah,
fuck all that.
Look, bro, I'm gonna tell my son or daughter, go out west where it's warm. Because I think the better living is on the East Coast and in Chicago and in the bigger cities, New York, whatever. But go hang out in Arizona for 3-4 years.
Get your time out there
for a college experience. Phenomenal.
I told Mia to go to school in Southern California, hands down, but I 1,000% agree. I'll never forget my freshman year of college. It was a Super Bowl party at ASU, and I was at a pool party. All the apartments had those big pools and stuff, the huge like apartment complexes. And I was calling all my friends. They're all in Madison, Bloomington, Champaign, freezing their ass off. I'm at a pool party in Arizona, having a great time during the Super Bowl. It was that Seahawks Super Bowl with Sean Alexander and Hasselbeck. Who'd they lose?
Okay, Pittsburgh. Steelers.
Right?
Steelers.
Yeah. That was Mike Tomlin's Super Bowl, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. So to get back to Vontaze, I look over to the side, regular day at the rec, playing pickup. Vontaze Burfict's got next. Cool. Great. Vontaze gets on the court, bro. Exactly how he acted in the NFL. This is how he acted in pickup.
Can he hoop or was it just bully ball?
Oh my God. Bully ball to the extreme. He was running boys over. He wasn't honoring any foul calls. Like, fuck that. That ain't no foul. He knocking people out of bounds. Like Vontaze. So then it got to the point where, like, if you weren't on Vontaze's team, you didn't want to play.
Yeah, I'm not play.
Like, I'm not playing pickup with this cat, bro. So eventually, you just couldn't get if you weren't on Vontaze's team and he was in the gym, you were just trying to play on the other court. You know how it is at the gym. You get a main court, secondary court. People would just go over to the secondary court and just try to play an actual game. Today. Yeah, so shout out Vontaze Burfict.
And he's also a freak athlete.
Freak athlete. Dude, he was so all muscles, fast. Yeah, it was. Yeah, shout out Vontaze Burfict. A lot of people think changed Antonio Brown's life trajectory with that hit over the middle.
He fucking knocked him into wherever the hell he is now.
Yeah. So it's tough when we're talking about quarterbacks trying to slide late. I wonder what type of fix there could be to avoid these type of hits.
According to Rex Ryan, quarterbacks should dive at defenders' ankles. That was his solution on Get Up.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that.
I didn't understand what he was trying to say. It's going to lead to a lot more issues than fixing anything. But there is nothing. I mean, maybe give them flags. I don't really know what else you can do at this point.
But I think, honestly, this is the way you do it. If you start hitting people's pocketbooks hard like this, remember when we first talked about getting like helmet to helmet hits
or going over the middle?
It's like, it'll never change.
You don't see it at all.
It'll never change.
You don't see it at all.
All you see is people hitting people with their shoulders because they don't want to get fined. They changed.
And you see offense taking advantage of it. Teams are throwing over the middle like it's going out of style because you don't have your Rodney Harrison and those guys. Do you remember Rodney Harrison? His job was literally to clear you from the middle of the field. If you came over there, because most of the time you're catching something over the middle, you're not seeing this guy coming at you, right? Or the guy coming from this way. You're turning and you're running right into contact. Guys like Harrison, they didn't cover anybody. Who was the other guy, man? I'm forgetting his name. Used to play for the Bears, play for the Patriots. Brandon Merriweather.
Merriweather was a beast.
Couldn't cover anybody. I might score a touchdown on him in the open field. But man, if you came across the middle, that guy was separating you from the ball. And you wouldn't go for that catch anymore. And that changes the defense. Right? You talk about guys like cover corners locking down one side of the field, having a safety like that. Look at Johnny Knox. These guys don't want to get hit like that. That shit'll fucking destroy your shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I think that is the way to fix it. You just keep hitting people. You just pounding people's pocketbooks. They'll eventually figure out a way not to hit folks like that, especially coming over the middle. So hopefully Trevor Lawrence gets well soon. Concussion protocol, everything is good, and he's able to get back and what he does best, playing quarterback. Well, sometimes, but
is that what he does best? I think what he does best is go to the bank every 2 weeks. I don't think he hasn't played quarterback his best since he was in Clemson, South Carolina. So they haven't played good football since he was there.
Let's close it out here, man. I got to hear your opinion here, Nick the Quick, on this Ohio State-Michigan, biggest rivalry in sports. Ohio State has the most expensive college football team ever assembled, $20 million roster. They are 20-point favorites at home versus the Michigan Wolverines, and they lose outright. People screaming for Ryan Day's job. Some people were saying fire him before the playoffs start. We'll have someone else take us to the national championship. This guy's a loser. He's lost 4 in a row to Michigan. High-pressure leverage spot. He loses once again. That's 4 straight to Michigan.
It's tough.
Michigan
a bad
wins.
Michigan team.
A bad
Michigan team.
Not
last year when they won the national championship. This is a bad Michigan team.
This is one of those feelings where if we're not going to beat them now, we're never going to beat them. That's like what an Ohio State fan has to be feeling. But, Nick, Michigan gets the W. They pull out the Michigan flag at the shoe in Columbus, and they go to do the planting the flag in the middle of the field. Where are you at on this? Should that be allowed, or is that going too far?
Yeah, in situations like that, I got no problem with it, man. I mean, like you just said, they were massive underdogs. This is a massive rivalry. You say the biggest in sports. And you came in their turf and won. And Ohio State, add in the fact that it's a $20 million football team. Add in the fact that this was the preseason favorite to win the national championship. Add in the fact that I think they took like 10 guys from Alabama when Saban left, right? And this team was stacked and loaded. You're coming off of a national championship. You've had a tough season under a new head coach. I get it. You just signed this quarterback that I think they paid, $11 million for the quarterback to sign with Michigan a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that.
This is great, by the way.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing.
Got billionaire wife, girlfriends who's an alum.
Financing
in there,
thing, right?
Financing. Yeah,
wasn't Portnoy was involved too.
Portnoy was pushing it, but
this is the wild at college football. I told you guys, you did this to yourselves. You did it to yourselves. It's the freest market on earth right now is Bitcoin and college football. But I got no problem with that, man. Just like I had no problem. My favorite flag was the Baker Mayfield when Baker Mayfield planted his shit at Texas when he was a member of the Oklahoma Sooners because he hates Texas. Michigan hates Ohio State, right? I love the quote at the end of the game from the Michigan kid who said, man, you want to fight after the game? You could have done all that fighting for the last 4 quarters. You didn't do it. Like, y'all are some clowns. Learn how to lose. I don't have a problem with Ohio State defending their territory when you try to do that, but I got no issue with it. None at all. Now, if you do it in some regular game, kind of like storming the field has become, where we're storming the field after regular Tuesday night wins in the MAC, like, I'm not with all that, but I got no problem playing the flag.
Is it too disrespectful, though?
Yes, and that's why I like it. That's why I like it. Hey, listen, man, I like it.
We came into y'all house and bust y'all ass. This is our turn today.
Busted y'all ass, and this is our turn today. Oldest rival. This is our shit today, and we've been kicking your ass in a year where you were supposed to be the ones, and we were supposed to be down. We lost our quarterback. We lost our coach both to the NFL, a bunch of other players to the NFL, running back Quorum to the NFL, all these guys to the NFL. We're rebuilding. We come into the shoe, into Columbus, and bust y'all ass. I'm putting the flag down. Y'all got a $20 million club. What are we talking about here? Go win some games. Now you guys have lost 2 games. Y'all were supposed to be undefeated this year. It doesn't matter because apparently if you lose 5 games, you'll still get in the college football playoff if you're from a big enough school. But I digress. Alabama's ranked like 12th in the nation. They've lost 3 games. One of them was to Vanderbilt, but whatever. That's a story for another day. We could do a whole episode on college football and how it doesn't make sense.
How this shit works when Florida State was undefeated.
He didn't get in because their quarterback was hurt.
They was like, look, man, y'all not going to compete. So we're going to go ahead and put Bama in this joint. Don't worry about it.
Bama has 3 losses and is firmly in a college football. They're fucking around have a bye week if they even have one in college.
They do have the bye week, but they're not eligible.
We're just going to go ahead and give you a bye week. There they are now. They will be next week. But anyways... The committee.
Dude, college football is a free for
It's a free for all. Anything is possible. I'm telling you, it's the freest market in the world. It is.
It's literally like now with this playoff situation and the money and how shit's set up, just nothing is the on the field product matters. It's probably the least. It's probably the thing that matters the least.
Who was my man that was 5-0 and the quarterback transferred in the middle of the season and they were 5-0 because they messed up his NIL deal?
Yeah, my man from UNLV.
Yeah, my man said, hey, listen, man.
Y'all not run my check, bro.
We're 5-0. I don't give a fuck.
My check, dog. What are we talking about? Y'all tripping, bro. I'm out of here, bro.
My Chase account is still the same. Listen, I'm going to play on Saturday.
Where does he – whatever happened with that? I wonder where he went.
I don't know. He went somewhere to get some money where the check cleared.
But so you're okay with the flag plant?
I love it. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
It is
in the right situation. Again, had they beat I don't know, fucking Rutgers at home, I'd have an issue with it. But I don't have an issue with that at all. It's meant to be disrespectful. It's a disrespectful game, and it was a disrespectful win.
You. Yeah, disrespectful win.
Now, if Ohio State had beat Michigan and Ann Arbor with things how they are this year, I'd be like, Ohio State, you really have no reason to do that because you're a much better team. But even then, I'd be like, you know what? You lost 3 straight. Maybe you should celebrate. I don't have a problem with this. And I have a problem with things. I don't have a problem with this.
I said it's the most interesting, best rivalry in sports because we talk about the pageantry. That's the only thing that keeps college ball alive for me. Especially on it's just like the quality of the sport is whatever.
You can't sit here and watch a college game and tell me that is the type of football you want to watch every day.
But the pageantry keeps it rolling, and when you get a rivalry like that, the pageantry just brings so much to it that you get stuff like 20-point underdogs winning on the road with some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen.
Terrible.
That Warren kid was horrific.
Horrible.
And they still got the W, so... Yeah, man. I think it's very borderline, but it is what it is, man. This is the thing about sport in general. When you lose, you don't really have a say. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If I want to run up the score on y'all, get better. Like that's kind of where I'm at on that whole thing. So if I come into your house and lose,
where was that a couple weeks ago, where someone and he's like, I mean, our guys need to practice or some shit like that.
Y'all are
that's
just
not on me.
It's not
my job to take your feelings into consideration.
Absolutely. Really quick, LeBron James struggling at the moment. Something or nothing. Is it just a bad streak? Is he getting old? Take a couple. He's trying to play all 82. Should he just sit, get right?
God forbid LeBron James, who's 40 years old and they're playing 34 minutes a night, goes through a struggle in fucking November in the first half of the season. Like, God forbid. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm more worried about the Lakers in general. Right, and the fact we talk about not upgrading rosters and they've drafted well, but listen, man, that team is old. He's old. You can't. Your solution can't be every year. Hey, man, like if it goes tough, we're just going to ride LeBron for 35 to 40 minutes a night. It's not sustainable. Like he has done everything that he's supposed to do. He is still great. He's still shooting 49% on the season. So while he's had a tough stretch, only had 10 last night. They got the doors blown off of him by the Timberwolves. I'm not worried about it, man. I'm more worried that the Lakers need to make some fucking moves that work.
LeBron turns 40 years old December 30th this
40.
year. He's 39, going on 40 in 27 days.
And his usage still has to be amongst the highest in the league. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I agree.
That's on them, dude. Yeah, he's tired. He's fucking tired. But I also think in a month from now, we could be going through a stretch where LeBron has a 10-game stretch of 30, 10, and 11, and we're just like, oh, my God, here we go again. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about it. It's not over with. I'll put it that way. I don't think LeBron will end, real quick before we leave, LeBron will not end as some shadow of himself. LeBron will walk out of the game as one of the top 10 players in the league. Could be this year, could be next year, but we're not going to see some withering 13-point per game LeBron struggling to, that's not going to happen. He's not going to hang on for dear life. He'll just decide, hey, I'm done. I'm going to walk away at the top.
Let me see LeBron real quick before we go. LeBron James contract. What is he on right now?
He keeps signing those 2-year deals.
Two year 100. But when is that? Unrestricted. So this year, next year, he's done after this year and next year. He's unrestricted 2026, 2027 when he's 42.
He's done.
He's done after. He'll finish out this deal, and then that's it for LeBron James. So enjoy him while he's still around. He doesn't. Oh man, a good question. We'll talk. Man, that's what he does.
Episode. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's like a go on TV guy.
Coaches.
I think he.
Maybe he coaches.
Wine. No, I don't think he coaches. I don't think he coaches. It's too much.
Not in the league. I don't know. That's a good question. What does LeBron James do?
Does he coach Bronny in the G League?
I mean, I'll tell you this, every television network is going to be on his lawn. Yeah. Maybe he starts his own network and builds that up and starts. I don't know. It's good. It's a really good question.
And Mav Carter.
Yeah, it's a really good
question.
Probably
does produce a lot of content. Yeah. He can do whatever. The answer is whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Yeah, that is the answer.
Because he's got a couple billion and there's a few more billion on the schedule. So
yes, no doubt. For Big Nick the Quick, I am your host, Sean Little. No Ketchup Sports Talk via Chicago. Tell a homie to tell a friend. Subscribe. Pass the link. We'll see y'all next week, man.